Hi, my name is Stevie and I like to write songs. Over the last few weeks on the channel there's been a couple of mentions of the band Tool. This is quite interesting to me because I'm not very familiar with the music of Tool. So I think I'll remedy that today. I'm going to listen to as much Tool as I can and see what I can learn from it and see if I can adopt a flavour of some of Tool's songwriting techniques into my music. Let's go. Quite often my music is very guitar orientated, partly because guitar is my first instrument, so I tend to write a lot on guitar and then all the other instruments get written as a result of the guitar riffs. Tools seem to be completely different in that approach. They definitely seem to be more about drums and bass, and that's probably why a lot of my drummer and bass player friends really love Tool. I suppose there's parallels with Rush in that respect. So with that in mind, I put the word out to my subscribers and to some of my drum and bass friends and asked them to give me a list of Tool songs that I should listen to. So I've done that and I've made some notes about the things that I would like to experiment with as a result of listening to Tool. I think this might be a good way of getting myself out of a songwriting rut where I seem to do sometimes the same things all the time, and let's try something completely different by approaching it from a different angle, from maybe a more Tool-esque approach. So Tool are a progressive rock band and the seeds of their sound is very much based in the 90s. I can hear that when we listen to how often they use minor but occasionally verge into major thirds. I think they use that for colour, and I think overall the feel of the song is still minor, but they like this major third thing to sometimes break up a repetition and add a bit of surprise or harmonic complexity. It's all about the drums and bass, and the guitar plays a bit of an auxiliary role, even though the guitar is still quite prominent in their songs. The first thing I noticed when I listened to Tool is that they're very much a riff-orientated band, and they like to use less common time signatures. So we'll hear things like 5/4, 5/8, 7/4, 7/8, odd meters. They're very much a riff-orientated band, and they like to use a lot of repetition in their songs. So the riffs will repeat over a long time period, and they definitely give their songs time to breathe, and they're not afraid to make their songs quite long and epic. They use a lot of repetition with small variations in the repetitions, and it quite often can sound like the band is improvising. I think part of the appeal of Tool is that it does sound like a really great band who are just really in tune with each other and can improvise and develop these themes over time. As far as their lyrics are concerned, their lyrics can quite often sound quite cryptic, but there is an overriding feeling that the songs are about internal feelings, like the narrator is thinking about things or going through turmoil. You couldn't necessarily say the Tool songs are about certain things. They don't necessarily write things about politics or about things that happened. Their songs aren't about concrete things. They're more about an ethereal feeling. So I'll try and keep that in mind as well when I'm trying to write the lyrics. Probably Tool's most famous song is 46 and 2. I'm going to try and come up with a bass riff sort of based on something like that. I think it would be good to start with some kind of bass ostinato. I think that will get me moving. This is what I've come up with here. Let's see if I can record that. So I've recorded a few repetitions of this riff to get us started. I was thinking maybe the drums could start off doing some kind of tribal beat on the toms before eventually a fill and then into the standard drum beat. So let me program some drums and we'll see how we get on with that. Alright, let's hear that. I'm interested in hearing what it sounds like when the main beat comes in. And interestingly, I didn't notice when I was writing the bass riff until I started programming the drums. And then I realized that what I had done is I had written a bass part that is actually already in 7/8. It kind of adds to the Tool vibe there that we're already in an odd time signature. 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't really matter how you count it. I have a tendency with these types of time signatures to divide them up into something that my brain can understand, which would be subdivisions of 3s and 4s. So you could count it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, or you could count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Or you could subdivide it into 2s and 3s, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and so on. It depends on where the accents would be in the 7/8. For the guitar, I wanted to start off on a clean sound. People who watch this channel a lot know that I use Helix Native. I'm trying this Neural DSP plugin. I think it's going to end up taking over. I really like it. This is the John Petrucci one, and I'm using a preset here that's called Count of Tuscany, so I guess you probably know what song that's out of. So let's play this a wee bit and see if I can come up with a clean guitar part for over the top of it. Okay, so I'm going to try this little arpeggio thing for a while over the top of the bass riff. Before the guitar eventually settles into unison with the bass. Not quite sure, but we'll try. All right, let's see what we have here. So there's two things that have come into mind as I've been listening to this. First of all, I think we need some kind of sound effect or some kind of ambient drone that happens in the lead up and maybe carries on through this. I'll have a think about that. The second thing is up here when we get into the main drum beat. I think the bass needs to stop playing that melody in order to free up the instruments to do something a wee bit more chordal over the top of it. It'd be interesting if the bass just went down to dun 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 dun, something like that, so that it locked in more tightly with the drums and gave me a wee bit of freedom to come up with a different melody over the top of it. We'll try that first. Right, so an interesting thing happened just now with the bass. I was playing this guitar riff, and I wanted the bass to do something like, and then come in with something that matched this, but I got the strings wrong, and instead I was planning to do something like this, which would match this. But I got the strings wrong, and I ended up playing it on this string instead. Which ends up giving you something like... which is a bit of a clusterfuck of notes. It doesn't really work. When I tried to fix it, I realised that I liked the sound of that better than the actual correct version. We're stuck with it now. I think it sounds pretty cool in its muddled up, not making any harmonic sense kind of way. Let's hear it coming out of this riff here. I think I can also hear maybe the guitars joining in with the bass guitar and doing jun, 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 jun. So we could try that as well. Right, let's hear that wee bit. I think I can imagine something here. That wee heavy bit might sound cool with some kind of dreamy keyboard over the top of it. So let's copy it a couple of times and see what I can come up with. For some reason, the timbre of an electric piano is what's coming to mind. I got this free plugin, Analog Lab Intro, recently, and it's pretty cool. It's got a lot of really nice keyboard presets. And the preset I found that I quite like for this is like a sort of an electric piano. It has like a Leslie effect on it. The other thing I was thinking about doing is something like this, something quite simple. So let's record that. I think probably we could have the guitars just picking that melody out as well, these clean guitars. Let's hear what that's like. It's not how I imagined it. It sounds a bit clean and middle of the road. So I think I'd like to add maybe a distorted lead guitar onto it as well, just to dirty it up. And I think maybe I hear a wee bit of instrumental lead guitar here. Okay, so let's see what I can come up with. So I spent a bit of time and I came up with this patch. I'm back to my tried and trusted Line6 Helix for this. One of the things that I noticed when listening to Tool is that sometimes they do an unusual thing with their sequence of effects on the guitar. They put the delay in front of the distortion. I've heard this before with guitarists like Prince, who I really love. It gives the guitar a very dirty sound because the delay is feedbacking on itself and distorting, so that when you do things like string bends, it clashes a lot and it has a very distinctive sound. I really like it, and I think it's something that I associate strongly now with the music of Tool. Let's see what that sounds like. Right, let's record that. That sounds pretty cool. I suppose I should start thinking about lyrics now at this stage. I'll talk you through some of the places where I think so far we could put some words. I feel like we should probably come in with something almost spoken near the start. We'll just let it go for now. And then the main riff comes onto the guitar. I like the buzzy sound on the bass guitar. Main drum beat. Now I think at this part here is where the spoken word should probably come in. Now. Getting a bit more aggressive just before the guitar goes distorted. And then we should pick up this wee part as a vocal melody. Okay, so let's write some lyrics. So I did something that I do a lot when I'm trying to write lyrics. I listened to the music over and over again and tried to hear if the lyrics were already in there. I know that sounds weird, but I can quite often hear the lyrics in the music starting to emerge organically on their own if you listen carefully and try and sing nonsense over the top of it. Eventually the words seem to sort of write themselves. And this is what I came up with. Sharp intake of breath, close your eyes, because I think we're sort of getting in the repetition of this riff is sort of getting into a sort of meditative state that something is going to happen. So then we have prepare for what's to come, and I repeat that because the second time I sing it a bit more aggressively than the first time, and then the heavy guitars kick in. Then when the electric piano comes in, I just copy the melody on the electric piano and sing feel the freeze, you're on ease, feel it one, cut and run. It's not a lot of lyrics right now, but it's just enough because I think it sort of suits the laid back nature of this song to just have the lyrics occasionally coming in over the top of the music. Let's record that and see what it sounds like. Sharp intake of breath. Close your eyes. Prepare for what's to come. Prepare for what's to come. Feel a breeze. You're on ease. Feel it walk. So for the vocals, I've used my usual vocal chain of Arvox, into the CLA vocal chain. I've added some top end to the vocals and taken away some bottom end. And then I've added some distortion, just a mild amount of distortion. So it sounds like this. Stop and take a breath. Close your eyes. Prepare for what's to come. Prepare for what's to come. And the other bit. Okay, so the other thing that I want to work on right now is at the beginning we talked about maybe it would be nice to have some kind of a ambient effect before these guitars come in. Right, so this is an EBow. My wife bought it to me as a Christmas present a couple of years ago and I've never found an excuse to use it until now. I'm thinking it might be a great tool for doing the ambient intro of this song. So I'm not sure how it works. You put a battery inside it and it does some kind of electromagnetism so that if you hold it near a string on the guitar, it makes the string sustain infinitely, like a Sustainiac pickup. That's the kind of sound I want there for the start of the song. Sounds really cool. Can't wait to hear what that'll sound like in context with the song. Let's try and record it. There's a little switch on the EBow where you can switch it to the left or to the right, and one of them gives you the fundamental and the other one gives you an octave up harmonic. So I decided to record two EBow tracks on the two different settings, so one's an octave higher than the other. Let's hear what that sounded like. There's a little mistake here on the EBow track on the left hand side where it made a screechy feedbacky sound and I really loved it. I couldn't reproduce it again, so I had to use that take. Okay, And I sort of feel at that stage, the main verse of the song would come in. But probably this video's already too long. So next week we'll work on the verses and maybe the chorus of the song. For now, let's call it a day at this. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that we dive into the songwriting techniques of Tool today. I'm not sure whether I successfully wrote anything that sounds even remotely similar to Tool or not, but at least it gave me an incentive to try something a wee bit different and approach songwriting from a slightly different perspective from what I normally do. And this has hopefully caused me to write something that's a bit different from what I would normally write. From that perspective, it's been a cool and successful little experiment. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys, and please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell icon and all that stuff. I'm trying to grow the channel and it will really help me if you're finding what I do useful. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed that today. Stay tuned for more developments on this song. You guys rock. Yeah.